about these new rules when it comes to selecting delegates to represent these different candidates. Tell me about this.
That's right, Brooke. Ron Paul delegates from various states, but particularly states where he did well, like Maine, are very unhappy for a number of reasons. And I want to bring in one of those delegates. This is Bryan Daugherty from the state of Maine.
Yes.
Tell me why you were protesting earlier here on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel that RNC has not followed the rules. They've thrown out our duly elected delegates. They're up here in the stands while there's 10 delegates and 10 alternates that were replaced by a 9-state committee that didn't include any of the input from Maine voters. You know, Maine people came out to our caucus and our conventions, 2,500 plus, and, you know, they elected us to represent Ron Paul.
And one of your Maine committee women is in the Rules Committee right now trying to fight this, right, to get
Well,
Ron
she's in
Paul's
the Rules Committee to try to fight two of the rules that they are trying to pose along. The Credentialing Committee met this last week, and they decided which delegates would or would not be seated. And, you know, we were really hoping that they would follow their own rules, which state 17, Rule 17 states that if they were to, if it's within 10 days of the convention, that it would go back to the duly elected delegates.
And then there's another rule that you all are very upset about. Even Sarah Palin weighed in earlier today about changing the rules for future conventions.
Yeah,
that
well,
could make it hard for someone like you to be here, right?
Yeah, well, it basically gives them a rubber stamp to change the rules any which way they want. We are delegates elected across the nation to represent the body of the Republican Party. And, you know, it's our input that is, you know, that is needed because it's our party. Unfortunately, now they can change the rules at will without, with 3/4 of the executive committee.
And let's talk more broadly about Congressman Ron Paul.
Absolutely.
You were protesting earlier. You were one of the several because he's not speaking. He was offered a speaking slot, though,
He
right?
was offered a speaking spot, but under two conditions. One, that they would have to vet all of his remarks, and two, that he would have to fully endorse Mitt Romney. Now, for a man that's put 30 years into, you know, fighting for American people, unfortunately, they're going to stick a 2-minute video that they've clipped and put just to support the Mitt Romney's positions, and it says nothing about auditing or the National Defense Authorization Act. It says nothing against the erosion of our liberties and everything that Dr. Paul stood for. And you know, it's disheartening.
It does have something on auditing the Fed, though, correct?
It does have some on auditing the Fed, yes.
Now, they are having Ron Paul's son, Senator Rand Paul, speak. Is that a consolation for you?
He's another great senator from Kentucky who is fighting for liberty and fighting for the Republican Party.
And one last question before I let you go. You're clearly not happy, and you're not the only one here. How are you going to show that, illustrate that as the days go on here at the
we would like to amend the credentialing report when it's brought to the floor, and if that's possible, we would like to get our duly elected delegates sat back on the floor. As far as my own personal resolve, if they're not willing to sit 7 out of 8 who were veterans, a priest, a pastor, a Native American, and countless women back on this floor, and allow the RNC 9-state committee who picked these other delegates to continue to sit here, I really don't want to participate after that.
So
I will walk off the floor, yes.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping in touch with you to see how you're feeling about how things go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And, you know, Brooke, I spent a considerable amount of time during the primary season covering Dr. Paul, covering his rallies, covering him during the primaries, and this is a prime example of the passion that you see for him and specifically for the causes that he espouses. And, you know, they are just relentless when it comes to compromising and throwing their support behind the guy who the rest of the party is doing. Not everybody is behind them. So you see that's illustrated pretty well right now.